of course, has the most powerful intuition of leading us where the organization needs to be. One of the things I personally find extremely inspiring as well from working with him is that he's also, as a scientist, so open to testing and learning and seeing how we can improve, and also looking at what are other best practices doing, and is there anything there that that can help us, help people more, help the world better, etc. So what we're going to open with today is looking a little bit with my perspective of a McKinsey consultant, which Anna Mareka will introduce afterwards, I think. You know, when you look from a strategy point of view, what typically best practice companies do, what does that look like, and what can we learn from that? So when you look at companies, typically they evolve, the successful companies. They go through 3 different phases. The first phase, everything always starts small with an idea. And that's typically called the entrepreneurial phase. So there's an idea that maybe we can help people in some way, and the company starts testing that in the market. This is a very externally focused phase because it's all about the customers and what do they need and can we help them. Now, if a company does really well in this phase, that means there suddenly becomes more and more demand, and now they go to the second phase, which is the operational phase. This is brought upon by success, and it is for many companies quite challenging because from being very outwardly focused on customers and their needs, suddenly the organization needs to shift their attention internally to figure out how to scale. How can we make more of this product or service? And it's a very different skill that's needed to be successful in that. Now, let's say the company does this well and is able to scale lots and meets the real full need that's out there in the world. At that point, not by their choice, but by the world, typically they get catapulted in the third phase, which is one where competition comes in. Because when a company is really successful, very often other organizations try to copy what they do. Now, what's interesting here is this is called the marketing phase. And the reason it's called the marketing phase is companies need to now shift their attention again completely from being inwardly focused on scaling to now being outwardly focused on being competitive in a market that suddenly has a lot of competitors. And this again requires an outward focus again. We need to go back to our clients, figure out, one, of course, that we have the better product and service, but 2, also that our clients understand we have a better product and service. And very often as we start to look at customers, as customers have more options to choose from, very often that requires that we start to segment our customers because different customers have different needs. And so in this phase, companies very often start to say, okay, let me look at this type of clients and let me develop a special offering for them. And now let me look at a different type of clients and let me develop a special offering for them. It's typically called segmentation and targeting in the marketing world. And with this focus again on the client and what they need and how we best help them, that is also the perfect birthplace for what we call going back to zero and starting the next curve. Because sometimes what you find is that what the market needs is different from what you have to offer, and you really need to create a different offering. And at that point, you keep, of course, going with your existing offering, but you also start a new project or a new product or service. And then you go back to the entrepreneurial phase, testing, figuring out what exactly do clients need, how best do we serve them before you scale, etc. So that is kind of the best practice of, you know, what you see best practice companies do in the market. I'll pass it to Damien to see how do we apply that to Dr. Nader's vision and what does it mean for all of us.
When we look at these principles and see how we can apply them to our team organization, we can see that we've gone through, of course, these exact same phases. The first being the entrepreneurial phase, and I think we can all agree Maharshi was the ultimate entrepreneur, going and traveling in the world and seeing how he could use the technologies of consciousness to transform people's lives. Especially, of course, now in the Western world, these technologies had not been seen. So Maharishi was really the pioneer in this meditation space for the West. The second phase, this operational phase, I think we've all heard the story, many of us have heard the story of Maharishi was sitting with some engineers, and Maharishi at the stage was just teaching people one by one, and that's how everyone was learning to meditate. And the engineer sat with him and said, but if you're teaching this many people per day, even the most you could teach per day, and you want to teach so many people in the world, Maharishi, it's going to take 200 years. And that's assuming no more people come into the world. So then there's a time to change the focus and say, okay, we have to be inward on that phase. And that's where now we had the world plan with all the TTCs and the centers, and so many millions of people learned and came out of that. Currently, the meditation market is now in this final third phase, the marketing phase. And it's a crowded market here now in terms of all the options available to the public. But this is why now Dr. Tony Nader's focus on consciousness is so brilliant, as it covers both these important aspects of this third phase. On the one side, going deeper into what people need and designing programs and packages to meet the needs of where they are, to help them where they are, and start the relationship of upliftment and enlightenment for them. At the same time, leveraging this newly found technology and knowledge about what people need, and then focusing on this next goal of building the consciousness market and cementing our place as the leaders in the consciousness space. Thank you.
Thank you, Miriam and Damien, for this beautiful overview. And today we'll reverse things a little bit and actually introduce you now properly, because we jumped right in, so I didn't have a chance to introduce you before properly. And for some of you, you may have actually seen Damien and Miriam Lodge before presenting for some of our programs that we have been launching and really teaching already over the last year. So it's a joy to introduce you all to Miriam and Damien Lodge. So I'll start with Miriam. And over the course of her career, Miriam Lodge gathered a lot of high-level professional experience, especially in the area of marketing, as you just heard. She worked as a project manager for a strategy consulting firm McKinsey & Company for many years, where she focused primarily on sales and marketing. She also graduated top of her class in her MBA program specialized in marketing at Northwestern University's Kellogg School of Management, which is historically ranked #1 in the US for marketing MBA programs. The other area of professional expertise she is also very passionate about is professional development. While working for McKinsey, she was part of the team training new consultants, and she worked as an independent career coach as well for a while. She left McKinsey in 2006 to work on a project for the TM organization, where she got to work with Maharishi and considered that the blessing of a lifetime. Since then, she worked almost exclusively for the TM organization in various roles, now culminating in the role of the co-CEO of Maharishi Foundation Technologies, which is rolling out Dr. Nader's Consciousness Advisor program globally. Now, on her side is Damien Lodge, who studied IT and Maharishi Vedic Science at Maharishi International University, where he was elected into the Student Council and graduated with the Outstanding Achievements Award. He has worked dynamically in various roles in the TM organization, for example, Maharishi European Research University, Maharishi Ayurveda Products International in the USA, and he taught TM in schools. From 2013, he has been focused on marketing initiatives and programs for national offices, dramatically boosting TM instructions, creating new websites, and leading the team that built the Easy Client Relationship Management System, which is now used by the Consciousness Advisor and related programs. He's currently working to bring the Consciousness Advisor program to the world effectively, powerfully, and efficiently as the president of Marshy Foundation Technologies. So thank you for being with us both. Now, after this beautiful opening to our second session, we really want to understand the grand vision and unification that has been put into practice during this transformative time. There are three of our international leaders that will share insights on the unification and digital transformation of the organizations that deliver the programs and services of the development of consciousness. We will also hear about some of the early results of the new outreach to increase transcendental meditation instructions in the USA and the United Kingdom. And it will be led by Dr. Howard Chandler, who's also known by many as Chancellor, Tom Factor, and Carla Berkers. Now, as we begin, I will actually start just introducing Chancellor to you all, and then we'll proceed with Tom Factor and Carla as we proceed with our session. So for many of you who know Roger Chancellor, or what we call, Chancellor often in brief, he is the Chief of Staff at Marshy Foundation International. He obtained his BA from Howard College in Human Development and his PhD from Marshy International University in Vedic Psychology of Human Potential. He has spent his life dedicated to the development of consciousness, including 5 years in deep meditation and silence in Uttarkashi in the Himalayas of India. He now serves on the boards of numerous foundations and companies and works closely with Dr. Nader and the leadership of the global country of world peace. So it's a joy to hand it over to you, Chancellor, for this first part of the presentation.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Nader and Anna-Marika, Damien, Miriam. Just to add a point to the kind of big picture that Damien and Miriam have presented with respect to the broader, not the TM organization, but the broader milieu that we're operating in, everyone, all of us. The last 15 years particularly has seen an enormous transformation around the requirements for any and every company, organization, foundation in the world that is summed up as digital transformation. This basic table stakes, they say, your minimum of what you have to even really start working in the world today would include an app. It would include, for an organization of our size, a global, consistent global brand, look, feel, personality, if you will. It would require expertise in digital marketing across all the different platforms of social media, internet, and all of that is just absolutely a minimum requirement. For us, that process, I think, started in different ways. We've had, of course, at national levels, digital marketing programs, working with the internet and Facebook and so forth. At the international level, the first real, I would say, major initiative in this area came up very organically, and that was to develop an app for the TM community, for existing meditators, where we could start to have network and build community. as an aside, I would mention that that is now as real a community as the physical community. Even on this call now, or on this meeting now, this assembly, we have probably 200-300 people here in the audience in Meru in the Netherlands. And we have, I think it's about 2,700 people have registered. They're not all there, but that number of people around the world registering to participate. So the opportunity is there that even as we strengthen our physical community, we build buildings, we create the infrastructure that we can physically be together, we also really need to develop that infrastructure in the digital world. Because there we can build a community of not hundreds or thousands, but of tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions, tens of millions, even hundreds of millions of people. This is really where we need to be focused to bring this knowledge, and the positioning of it as consciousness is itself critical. But just at this moment, I'm talking about the underlying capacity to deliver whatever the messages are that we want to get out. So the app, as it got going, it was initially a sort of startup operation. And then at a certain point, we had an agency in London work with us. And we realized, they have all these skills that we're having to pay them for and are quite expensive. And we should really build out our own team so that we can do this work ourselves with people who really understand our mission and our values, and also are then part of our team and focused and not going to go away or whatever. And so at a certain point, and Dr. Nader was encouraging this process as it was moving along. And I think as it got a little more serious than originally it might have been, because we sort of started off on a shoestring budget and had a few people working on it. And as it got really more significant, it was Dr. Nader saw that this was something that would have the potential to actually change how we deliver the core knowledge of transcendental meditation. And from that came out, with his leadership, the digital TM course, we call it, which is the 3 days of checking. So when someone learns TM in person, then they have the option now to learn the 3 days of checking, the following 3 days, in a digital format from the comfort of their home, their office, as they travel, wherever they are, because it's there in an app in their pocket. And that came in a very timely manner. Just as COVID was hitting, we were able to start to deliver that app. And the organization that had been established to create a team to develop the app was called Maharishi Foundation International. And that organization had to suddenly grow even more. It was needed to add customer support so that people who started to use the app were able to have support. And then also the teachers, the TM teachers, Transcendental Meditation teachers, who needed to be trained how to teach using an app, also how to teach during that time of COVID when everything was kind of dramatic. And so that led to the training, whole training sessions for teachers. We had to have a whole team develop that. We had a team to develop the customer service and be available around the clock as needed. And so MFI grew, and it grew on the basis of skills. It's really, in this digital era, you can't just take a whole group of well-intentioned people and say, let's go and create an app and do customer service and so forth. We needed to have very specific skill sets or functions. The way, say, an airplane engine or a car engine, it needs very specific parts that perform specific functions in order that the engine as a whole is capable of delivering the overall function of that larger assembly of smaller functions, of parts. So the organization is delivering an app. It also in the process, it was clear that we also had to deliver legal capabilities, because you have all sorts of data sharing and privacy agreements and many legal questions coming up. So there had to be a legal aspect to it. You had to have HR to manage the different employees. You have to have all these different functions that allow a global organization to build that capacity to offer at scale its knowledge and its services, its programs, through the digital medium. And so this created the drive behind an initiative, and Dr. Nader is the chairman of the board and CEO of Maharishi Foundation International. And as I said, the team has been developed, and you'll hear more about that from our next two presenters. So this was the direction in our organization. On the one hand, as Miriam and Damien have brought out, that we need to focus on the different market segments. Dr. Nader has emphasized the sort of positioning now in terms of consciousness. And then we needed underneath that the actual logistical capabilities. How do we do that? And that's something that has come up, and it's, I think, quite vital for our ability to move forward. So that's where I'll step back and allow the next two speakers to provide you more detail.
Thank you, Dr. Chancellor, for laying out the great unification and digital transformation process that has taken place already for our TM organizations. The next speaker that I'd like to introduce you to is Tom Factor, who will share with us how this unification and digital transformation is put into practice in terms of branding, marketing, and TM teaching. Tom Factor is trustee of Maharishi International University and director of Maharishi Foundation USA and president of Maharishi Foundation International. He became a teacher of TM in 1972 and joined international staff to work on projects with Maharishi for the next 20 years. He served as Maharishi's personal secretary for 2 years and as Director of Communications. He also served as Vice President and Director of Programming of KSCI Television in Los Angeles for 10 years. Tom Factor was also the National Director of TM Advertising for the US for 7 years. Later, he directed a wind energy research company as principal investigator on grants with the US Department of Energy, National Renewable Energy Labs, and Iowa Energy Center. For 19 years, his company led the development in partnership with one of the largest utilities in the US of 60 utility-scale wind farms, delivering over 8,000 megawatts of energy. So with that, it's a joy to introduce Dr. Tom Factor, who is joining us online for this special assembly.
Thank you for that introduction. And I think Dr. Chancellor gave a very good overview of the MFI organization. Dr. Nader's charge, as I understand it from Maharishi, is to continue to advance and unify the body of knowledge and the organizations that provided, that Maharishi gave us, according to the changing needs of the time. And so we look forward to hearing much more about the new Consciousness Advisor and Super Habits programs in the coming days. And as Dr. Morris detailed, Maharishi unfolded programs sequentially over 60 years, starting with Transcendental Meditation, and about 200 organizations or more perhaps arose organically to support these programs over the years that they were unfolded. each of those organizations with its own management, its own databases, its own printed materials, its own websites. And so now we are at a point where we have the opportunity to unify all of that into a integrated brand so that anybody coming to us understands clearly and sees clearly how to take advantage of all of that, a clear journey through all of that, which is where the Consciousness Advisor program comes in. And Maharishi created, of course, the global country of world peace with its 12 ministries, as Prime Minister very beautifully summarized, and Maharishi foundations in every country to maintain the standards of delivery and effectiveness of the programs and services. So MFI's role is to support all of this with digital services, a unified brand, and the latest technologies for communication. As Anna Mareka said, it was in the 1970s that I was involved at Maharishi's encouragement with the television station in Los Angeles to broadcast all of Maharishi's programs to the entire LA metro area. It was a very exciting time. And that was the latest technology of the time. But now with an app, with the online, this is before digital technologies, the TV ruled, but now these digital technologies rule, and the ability to create individual connections with people all over the world. I mean, our company itself is globally distributed. We've taken talented people from dozens of countries that work together remotely to do the digital transformation work that we're doing. About 3 years ago, Dr. Nader engaged in a branding exercise, as I said, that was necessary to unify the look and feel and all of our organizations, that all the services that our organizations provide under this banner of consciousness as the unifying value. And we engaged a global branding agency, and we engaged some of the great leaders of our organization that had deep knowledge of this, many of whom are in the room today, and working with Dr. Nader over some time to develop this brand. And I'll give you just a quick overview of that. Many of you may have seen this already, but just to make sure everybody is refreshed in that, let me share my screen briefly. So here what we see is we have the global country of world peace, which is the administrator of all the programs and services and organizations. We have Dr. Tony Nader, who is leading the paradigm, leads the global country of world peace and leads this paradigm shift, paradigm enlightenment that we're providing to the world. And then we have a parent brand called Maharishi Technologies of Consciousness, because all of the technologies we have arise from Maharishi, and they are all technologies for the full development of consciousness. And this is where the Consciousness Advisor program sits. And not only the Consciousness Advisor program, but all of these new services, super habits, and so forth, that we'll be hearing more about. The role of the Consciousness Advisor is to help provide a individualized journey through the entire range of products and services that we have according to the needs and interests of the person coming to us. And those products and services are organized into 4 distinct sub-brands. One is Transcendental Meditation, which is responsible just for learning the practice of Transcendental Meditation and establishing it as a daily practice. So that is Transcendental Meditation. The advanced technologies of consciousness are where the advanced techniques of Transcendental Meditation, the TM City program, the collective practice of the TM City program, Global Super Radiance, and the Vedic technologies sit in the advanced technologies of consciousness brand. Then we have Maharishi Integrated Health, and that is where all of the wellness and health technologies that Dr. Morris detailed earlier, sit, Maharshi Ayurveda, Marma therapy, asanas, pranayam, aromatherapy, all of the different health modalities that we have, integrated with the latest advances in modern medicine for everyone to achieve optimal health. And then we have consciousness-based education, which is the home of that body of knowledge of the knower, the knowledge of the knower that completes the knowledge that we gain in each of the fields of education, and as applied in perfectly to all of the different academic disciplines at Maharshi International University and Maharshi Schools of the Age of Enlightenment and other universities and colleges and schools around the world. So that's a quick vision of how all of the things which Maharishi developed fit into a brand architecture, and that brand architecture, then we're developing a brand for that, which has websites and integrated data services and so forth. Just to give you a vision of where transcendental meditation fits into that. The transcendental meditation centers we're re-envisioning as consciousness centers. A consciousness center that offers transcendental meditation, but also offers the Consciousness Advisor program and the other programs, new programs that are being offered to help people from wherever their interest is to step onto the path for the full development of consciousness. So that's a quick vision of this, and let me get back to where I was. As Dr. Chancellor brought out, the first work was to develop a TM app for a community, and then the digital course. The digital course came up during the pandemic because it was needed to reduce the amount of time that people spent in person together. So the digital course has a person learning transcendental meditation in person in one meeting, and then the rest of the course can be done remotely using the app and using a Zoom connection. This makes it more convenient for people who have scheduling issues or travel issues to learn transcendental meditation. And today, after the pandemic, in the US, where the app is most fully available, 48% of the people learning transcendental meditation choose to learn with the digital course. About 2/3 of the people who learn all in person also download the TM app to support their practice and their establishing their practice and their ongoing advancement in the practice. And after 6 months, 56% of those who downloaded the app are still using it actively to help support their long-term practice and advance their practice, even though they're already well established in the practice. MFI has also led the initiative to provide contemporary unified design for our websites, our social media outreach, our search engine optimizations, a customer data management platform and customer relations platform. We have a marketing division to create consistent marketing and use these latest tools to help popularize these programs. And we're developing a central management of leads of people who show interest to keep them engaged. And we're developing a 4-month curriculum as Maharshi originally envisioned it for the initial TM course, and a business model together with that connects to the Consciousness Advisor program, so that as a person becomes established in their practice, they're introduced to a curated path through the entire world of programs and services that can help them develop their full consciousness for a fulfilled and happy and healthy life. So we want to change the paradigm of how we offer our programs, so that no matter what door you enter, you're connected to the whole of what we have to offer for living a fulfilled life. And to give a little more detail about all this, I'd like to ask Anna Mareike to please introduce Carla Burkers, our Chief Operating Officer, and she'll give you a little picture of our young, vibrant, talented team supporting all this work and a taste of the resources available to every meditator in the TM app and the new resources to support every teacher of TM. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Factor, for this insightful and really grand clarification and presentation on the developments that you have been leading with a great team. It's a real joy to introduce you to Carla Burkers, the Chief Officer of Operations of MFI and a dear friend. Carla Burkers has an extensive background in product design and development, having worked at various international agencies, most notably branding and advertising agency Artmix in Amsterdam and leading London-based user experience firm for Vayance, now EY Seren. More recently, she was head of product design at Canonical, the company behind the biggest Linux-based operation system, Ubuntu. She was responsible for the Ubuntu user interface, the Ubuntu and Canonical brands and design systems, and a suite of web applications for cloud development and database configuration. After training as a TM teacher in 2016-17, she was balancing work during the day with TM teaching in the evenings and weekends in Canary Wharf, London. Joining Maharishi Foundation International as the Chief Officer of Operations in 2019, she was and is very grateful for the opportunity to bring together her professional background and her deep-rooted passion for bringing TM and technologies of consciousness to as many as possible. So with that, welcome, Carla.
Thank you, Anna Mareike. Yes, so I will be showing you a visual picture to the wonderful story you've just heard from Dr. Factor. So the MFI Maharishi Foundation International team has a mission, and that is to create a more peaceful, harmonious, and enlightened society worldwide through the full development of every individual. As we've just heard, we started focusing on TM, but the whole consciousness paradigm is very fundamental to everything that we do, and it's expanded our area of work. So I'll show you a little bit of all that we're working on. In our work towards our mission, we like to help the other organizations in over 100 countries to benefit from modern technology and globally integrated operations so that we can teach transcendental meditation and other technologies of consciousness to as many people as possible. So I'm just going to share my screen so I can give you some visuals. So first about the TM digital course, Raja or Dr. Factor has given you an introduction already. We wanted to make it easier for people to learn TM and for teachers to teach TM. And so we, in the TM app, included a companion for people who learn TM. They still learn TM in person, but then the follow-up, the following 3 days where they learn whether they're meditating correctly, how TM works, and what the benefits are that grow over time. They learn in a beautiful and complete way from Dr. Tony Nader himself. And we have taught to date over 59,000 people worldwide TM using the support of this app. And we've translated the digital TM course from English into Spanish, French, Portuguese, German, and Hungarian. So it's available in other languages now as well. And Dutch, Georgian, and Arabic translations are in process at the moment. And as Dr. Factor mentioned, 48% of the TM courses in the US are taught with the digital course in the app. So during the pandemic, it was a little bit more, but still this year, from the data we have so far, about half the courses get taught digitally. We like to use data wherever we can to verify how well things work and how we can optimize things. So one of the things that we keep a close eye on is how we are rated on Trustpilot, which is a big platform that many people use to assess the quality of products. The rating for a transcendental meditation is 4.8 stars, which is an excellent rating. And this is a rating earned by all the teachers across the world teaching TM. But we're seeing, as the app has gotten more embedded into the teaching, that the ratings maintain on exactly the same level. So beyond the TM course, I hope people present can get a little glimpse, and it's not too small. We want to help people establish a correct and regular practice of TM. So in the app, we have common questions grouped in categories. So every time people use the app to meditate, they can, if they have any questions, they can find the area that their question is about, and they can look for some guidance. And also, we've recently introduced streaks. So for those people who are keen to keep track of their health and well-being in measurable ways, the app keeps track of your regularity in practice. And we're finding that with these new features in the app, we can see that our users are actually becoming more regular in their practice. Then the app also is, as Dr. Factor mentioned, a tool for creating community, bringing people together, and getting people to meditate together as well. So we have a feature now in the app where you can see how many people are meditating at exactly the same time. It's quite modestly placed here at the top of the screen, so it doesn't distract from your meditation as you're about to start it. We are currently over 49,000, tracking over 49,000 meditation hours per week in the app. So there's lots of people meditating using the app. And we have over 1,000 people joining live group meditations every day as well. So there's a section in the app where you can see the group meditations following the coherence times, as well as other group instructions. For example, people who are interested in Maharishi Yoga Asanas, they can join a group session there, or group meditations with Bob Roth as well. So to date, we've tracked over 11 million meditations, and every time we gain another million, we have a little celebration as a team. So I wanted to share that. Then when people as people are meditating regularly and correctly, we also want them to be introduced to other areas of knowledge. And we have a section in the app called the library, where we have various small curriculums that take people through different areas of knowledge. So I've highlighted two that were published in recent times. One is Consciousness and Why It Matters, which is the highlights of Dr. Nader's consciousness course. And it gives the highlights, and then also offers people the opportunity to enjoy the entire course. And another recently published series in the app is the Advanced Techniques series. So this introduces the advanced techniques of transcendental meditation that are available to meditators, so they can learn what they are, what they can get out of it, and how they can continue their journey with TM. As Dr. Factor mentioned, our app retention rate is very important to us. So this is the percentage of users that still uses the app actively 6 months after they gain access. And our current retention rate is at 57%. And then also we are we're mainly making the app available to new meditators for their digital course. But we have also now made the app available for people who take a traditional in-person TM course. And in the US, 67% of the people taking a course in person, they also get access to the app. And then we're also inviting all the existing meditators now. We want to make sure that we do that correctly. So it's a bit of a process, but we're inviting people in the US, the UK, Spain, and the Netherlands. We've invited those already. And then we're working with Canada, South Africa, Ireland, New Zealand, Hungary, Sweden, Belgium, Switzerland, and France next. So lots more countries to go after that, but we are on our way to making it available to all the meditators worldwide. So if you put the various stats together, you can see that in the US, of all the people who learn TM at this time, 83% of them get the TM app. And that means we have an open and direct channel of communication with those meditators. And we can share all the new knowledge, the new courses that come out with those people. So also, the talks and the new courses that become available can be shared and celebrated in the app. And so we very much welcome those being shared with the meditators. And we get lots of great feedback from our users that they really enjoy the content. So that's a really nice bonus. So that was the overview of the TM app. I hope Dee, our customer support lead, is in the audience. I hope she won't mind if I say that if anyone wants access to the TM app, they can send an email to support@tm.community, and then we can process those requests and verify your meditation, and then we can give you access if you don't have the app already. Okay. So we, as Dr. Factor said, we've been working on the rebrand for TM, but for the whole ecosystem of Vedic technologies and services as well. So I have a short video here that I can show you to just share a few of the few websites that have recently been developed using this new branding. I pre-recorded the video, so I'm going to see if that works. I think my screen is shared, but I'm not sure. Yes, there it is. So firstly, this is a prototype of what Dr. Nader's website, drtonynader.com, could look like using this new branding. We've used the content of his current website and then applied the new branding to it. So you can see the Dr. Nader branding emphasizes the knowledge, the science aspect, and also celebrates his new book. And you can also have access to the masterclass series with David Lynch and see all the recent articles in the blog. And the web page ends with a quote wonderful quote from Dr. Nader. So this is in the prototype stage, but I wanted to give you a visual picture already, so a little preview there. Then the next page that I wanted to show you is maharishi.org. This is the website that explains the bigger picture of all the Maharishi technologies of consciousness and how they help realize the potential of humankind. It shows the background of the TM organization, how consciousness links into everything, and it links through to various pages and websites, as well as the consciousness advisors. I'll just briefly show you the technologies that you saw in that diagram that we saw earlier. Each of them have their own visual language, their own colors. You can see consciousness-based education uses that same blue. And it links, it all sits together under the tree logo we all appreciate. This is the new page for consciousness advisors. You can see it has the same look and feel, the same visual treatment, but telling that story specifically. So I think we'll hear a lot more about consciousness advisors in the coming days, but I wanted to show you how it all fits together. You can see here as well the layout that explains how a session with a consciousness advisor would go. That looks related to, for example, how we explain how the TM course works on the TM website. And you can book your session here as well. And we're making sure that all the websites end with a clear action step. Then I included a quick view of the Super Habits website, which you can also see here behind me. You can see it's a different website, different content, but under the same umbrella, in the same ecosystem, using the same design elements. I think you'll need a bit of time to review these properly, which I'll let you do in your own time. And then all these various websites are all supporting the tm.org website, which has undergone an overhaul as well. We launched a new brand design for tm.org in February this year, and it was a tricky time to launch a website because the meditation market has grown more complex, but also for the TM organization, it was a challenging time. But since we launched, we've seen great improvement in how the website's working. We're still optimizing, which is a continuous process, the optimization for search engines, the conversion rate optimization, which is how people interact with the website. So you're seeing here a variation that we're testing at the moment. And the website always goes back to the source of the knowledge. So you see here the testimonials of people who've learned TM and how it benefited them. Here's the action step. How can I learn TM? And then at the bottom here, we see common questions, and we go back to the origin of the TM technique. We've created. We're doing a lot of marketing work as well, so get more people to the website. We've created different journeys within the website. So what you see here is a page for people who maybe don't know that much about TM yet. It includes videos explaining how TM is different from other meditations, and again, links back to Maharishi and the origin of the teaching. That's me ending my recording. So that gives you a quick overview of the websites. So we're really focused at the moment on a public awareness campaign. with marketing of efforts that are both visible to the eye, so you can see the creative aspects that I just showed you, but also in the background, there's a lot of technical marketing work going on using AI, using the various platforms to optimize how our content works and how we can reach new audiences. And especially in the last 3 months, we've seen a great uplift in people coming to the website, and then also in people booking TM courses. So we're also opening new channels so we can reach new audiences. Just wanted to show you very briefly, this is the Instagram account for Transcendental Meditation. So we've been working with various marketing people in the broader organization. So the MFUSA marketing team and social media team have been rolling out the new branding on Instagram and Facebook. And we've also revived the YouTube account for Transcendental Meditation and applied the new branding there, together with those less visible search engine optimization work, for example, which one of the recent videos that we published got 370,000 views in less than 2 weeks. So we're seeing that this work is paying off and generating great results now. To conclude, I wanted to show the faces of our wonderful team. Some of them are here today. Most of them are working to make new solutions. We have a really wonderful team. We've grown a lot in the last few years, from being more solely focused on the app to extending into other areas. But we've really enjoyed, and we're also really enjoying working with the national organizations, with the US marketing team, with the global marketing group, to bring all the different initiatives together and make it possible for the countries to use the new website, but also to benefit from the marketing work that we've done. So the SEO work, the social media work that we're doing with the US and with the global marketing group, that benefits all countries. And as we can roll out this website, we hope that it will bring lots more new meditators around the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Carla, for this inspiring presentation on these great achievements that you and your team, with some of them here with us on stage and some in the audience, have accomplished under Dr. Nader's guidance. In this light, the inspiring marketing strategy, unification, and digital transformation initiatives that you've been learning about in this first part of our afternoon session are all under the guidance and great leadership of Dr. Tony Nader's vision to create a future for the TM organization implementing Marshy's technologies and vision for the whole world. So with that, we will take a short break, and afterwards we will explore some of the exciting new consciousness programs and projects that are being launched around the world. So see you in a few minutes.